homunculi. So you say the Chinese? Why you got black people with Chinese tattoos? And we know that once you put ink in your blood, it turns green. Now you become Incredible Hulk, or you see right here, Wolverine, black and gold. See the guys here? Black and gold. Now, I know graffiti. I can't see what that says. Let me see. Full Metal what? Full Metal Alchemist. Wanna have to check this out. All sins in Full Metal. So now, we understand that they're going into the computer system. Let's decode this shit. You ready? You see, Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is the pineal gland. Why? Because he, finds his wisdom, filio. Or this is where he gets his brother, for his brotherhood or his wisdom. Brotherhood stone. The stone of the brotherhood. The pyramid, the center of fire. That stone. When you take the cat, you break the brotherhood. So now we understand that all sins in Full Metal. Full Metal is an alchemist. So to put sins into metal is how to come into life through what? Robots and artificial intelligence. How we know? Because he says that or a race of artificial What do? They serve as what? Primary. Homunculi or a primary humanoid who antagonize society, motherfuckers. They're not a man or a woman who wants peace. They're males and females, like insects and dogs and bitches, who antagonize men and women and force Full Metal alchemists, aka sins, were created by the homunculus father by extracting what he believed to be his natural flaws into fragments of his philosopher's stone. What does that have to do with niggas? Huh? Well, let's check out some characters, Wikipedia. Just for the sake of argument, right? Why not? Well, we understand the takeover of Chinese products in America. Nike shoes, the Soul, Jordan, MJ-12. You see China and MJ-12 of the secret government of these artificial race and MJ-12. Lust, envy, sloth, gluttony, pride, wrath, greed. The original version in the Magna Carta, Lil Wayne, the baby, put some respect on my name, the Magna Carta, the clock of destiny. Lust, envy, sloth, gluttony, pride, wrath, and greed. Did we not just talk about that today? Prophecy fulfilled again. Scholarship confirmed. Heaven and earth have saluted, and all the angels were saying, let the Liberty Bell be repaired. Let us repair the Liberty Bell, starting there. By this time, there should be sometime soon, we the people should have a new Liberty Bell. If you are a man or a woman of truth, of any religion, of any breath that life can maneuver in, because y'all do like life, I'm quite sure you do. Even though an evil man enjoys life, just like a good man enjoys life. And the creator of life, he determines the outcome of the evil man and the good man. Not you niggas. So mind your motherfucking business. Why? The being, personification of the Father's darkness, aspects, comma, each named after one of the 7 deadly sins. Golly, I tell you. What's this? Let's get into that. 7 deadly sins. Also known as the capital of America. Vices, money, Capitol Hill, who fit the bill, or the cardinal church, or the cardinal sins, who are what? The vicar of Christ. Who was one of the first cardinals of sin? Desmond, Beverly, Tutu, Pink, Ballerina, Libertas. Gucci, Medusa, Blood Gang, Demon, Busted. Is a grouping and classification of voices, Satan, within Christian teachings. All shit. Although they are not directly mentioned in the Bible, until Omar comes, Hosea, comes to the ethers and tells y'all, hey, it's not in the fucking Bible, idiot. There are parallels with the 7 things God has said to dislike in the book of Proverbs, though. In the Proverbs. That's 2 syllables. Since you know the word of God, you should know that there's 2 syllables in Proverbs. That means you are pro in action. So in the book of Pros, you always act. And the word of God said that. These dislikes. These are 7 cardinal dislikes. The Proverbs of God's are telling you that this is not the voice of truth, but the cardinal sins that are capital and the vices or the federal of what? The beginning of black slavery, which is changed like dogs. Now you're changing the brain like dogs. Now it's like, fuck it. You live and eat like dogs, and you prostitute yourself. Am I right? How we know? Because I'm having a bunch of videos right now about what? Listen to this. Behaviors or moods are classified under this category if they directly give rise to other immoralities. Who's the immorality? The Amorites, women's immoral, and the Moabites, who practice immoral behavior. For we're the Canaanites. Scripture. According to the standard list, right? What is the list of why I'm making this video according to the will of the Most High? Not because of me. I'm a weak, skinny nigga. Remember, y'all crushed my organs, slapped me on my head, robbed me, want to fuck me on my ass, took my children. Y'all just tripped me on everything but my relationship with the Most High, which I warned you not to touch. That's like literally playing with pure fire. So, this is what we're going to shoot back at you. According to the standard list, this is standard punishment coming back to you. They are your pride, not the Most High, your greed, not the truth, your wrath, not justice, your envy, not good health, your lust, not self-responsibility, your gluttony, your ill wills, and slothness, your black lazy black culture, which are contrary to the 7 capital virtues. Don't you like capital money? Man, I got to raise capital for my new company. How you gonna do that? Well, I'm gonna tell you the shit, pride. I gotta get that bag by any means necessary, greed. And I'm willing to kill anybody, even my own family and friends, wrath. And because I want to be like the white man or the devil or this and that, I'm an envy. And once I get it, I'm going to go around the world making videos because I got to keep it that way, called my lust. And now I'm going to live a life of gluttony because the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the fuel for my gluttony. I can't afford to let none of those go low. And then that allows me to sit here and dictate behind a false image, which are contrary to the 7 capital virtues. And these things are often thought to be what? Abuses, domestic and abroad, in politics and in business, personal or not. They are abuses or excessive versions of one's natural faculties or passions. For example, gluttony abuses one's desire to eat. Falsehood. How we know? Because the classification originated with the Desert Fathers, especially Evagrius Ponticus. Evagrius' pupil, John Casson, the book, hold on, let's see who he is. This book, institutes, like colleges, brought the classification to who? Europe. Who was your slave master? Europeans. Which became fundamental to who? The Pope of the Confessional. And what did he do? Practice as a documented, meaning logos, or birth certificate to a penitential manuals, meaning your first father. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. To what? Sermons as a Parson's tale or a fairy tale. Right? Called a Canterbury tale. Oh shit, look at the pigs. I can't make this up. Regarded as a chanter's magnum opus. Tales are presented as part of the storytelling called Jesus, Muhammad, Black history and culture. Welcome to La La Land, where it's okay to be artificial. To go from our first video, 2010, and 2023, Jordan, MJ12, today. It is 2023, Michael Jordan. 2 plus 1, 2:12 p.m. is what? 23, Jordan. Oh shit. 6 plus 13 is what? 19. Plus 1, 10. That's the new program, right? New on and off switch. A new binary program. So we got to stop this sin from getting into the machines, right? We got to turn the machine off. You see the Star Wars now? Well, we got to get to the Death Star to get what? To turn off the machine switch that runs the Matrix or the what? Fairy tale. Or the Canterbury Tale, how we know, called the collection of 24 stories. Where's 24 stories? 12 hours in the day, 12 hours at night, called Dreamcasters. That runs over 17,000 lines written in Middle English by Godfrey or Geoffrey or Godfrey, right? Godfrey Mason, Moorish Science Temple of America, Moors, Red Hats, Mithra, Witchcraft, Pork, Sacrifice. Let's get this picture. Hold on. Godfrey Chaucer. A woodcut. Come on. Homewood. Let's get to it. Jesus woodcut. Let's see what they talk about. What do they want from me? What they trying to do to me? Alright, we got 3 horsemen. We got an angel up top. And we ride on the people. The 4 horsemen is here. I told you I've seen the white horseman. So let's read this prophecy. Wood Street, Homewood, Jewwood. Now I wish you would, motherfucker. What does this say? I want to know if y'all can read this. I want to make sure we're on the same page when it comes to the prophecy. Right? Let's make sure y'all reading this too. Y'all can't blurry this one. Shouldn't be able to, but they're going to try. Woodcut is a relief printing technique in printmaking, like money. Woodcut. An artist carves an image into a surface of a block. Money. A god. What God told you not to do. Worship. I got to get that bag in my church. I need your donations to what? Give to Satan so I can what? Mislead his sheep. Because Peter said no in the first place. And so did Jonah. And the fish spit him out. Why? Because Jonah was not going to take care of the fish. He didn't have the spirit of the fish in his cup. So he sent him out to feed the sheep, and he said, nope, I'm not doing that either. And his son, the Antichrist, Peter, he said, I'm not doing it either, so he hung his ass upside down. Esoteric court reads about the guy and the girls, or whoever's being hung upside down. So since y'all worship money, most Americans, more science of the woodcut, the artist of carves and images, black magic, into the surface of a block or what? Voodoo doll of wood or material, typically of gouges, leaving the printing part level with the surface while removing the non-printing parts, which may be energy, right? Areas where the artist cuts away carrying no ink, which is blood in this case, or the oil in the planet. While characters or images, meaning what? Your personification, surface level carrying the ink to produce the print. What? Your God body talents. But your block or your body is cut along wood grain. Like what? Sacrificing yourself to the ideology of Jesus. Bearing your what? Sins on the Jew wood or decayed wood cross. Wood grain. I'm grabbing wood grain, Texas. That's why you fell. Unlike wood engraving, though, where the block is cut and the end grain. The surface covered with what? Tattoos, ink, or by rolling over the surface of your body, ink, tattoos, black women, black men, black babies, black lazy, black clock. With an ink covered roll over brayer. Cylinder with a handle fitted to one end, other one flat end frame around the wood blocks. Key phrase. The black man is what? Multiple colors. The white man is what? Multiple colors. The brown man, the red man, and the orange man is what? Multiple colors. The Pink Panther is what? Multiple colors. And the Black Panther is what? Multiple colors. All the flags of the nations are made of multiple colors. Why? Because they've been printed by keying the paper to a frame around wood blocks. It's called circle and square, or square and a circle, using a different block for each color. You see where Crayola crayons coming into England? This is how you bring heaven to earth. The art of carving this wood cut, because meanwhile, remember, you'll put your sins on Jew wood, a cursed wood cut. For where? The Most High. You're not cut from the tree of life. You're cut from the tree of decay. It can be called xylography. Xylography. Hey Alexa, what do xylography mean?
From folklife.hu, saddlers also make belts used in clothing, horse gear and various functional objects, and work with leather in many forms.
Wow. Talk about the Beast of Burden. So now that we get
Beasts of Burden is a comic book series created by writer Evan Dorkin and artists Jill Thompson and Benjamin Dewey, and published by American company Dark Horse Comics. The title centers on an eponymous team of intelligent animals that investigate different paranormal events that occur in their small neighborhood of Burden Hill.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks for the continued thanks. You just made this AI's day.
For sure. So now, heaven and earth and the machine has confirmed the algorithm should be out there in the universe, the galaxy, and heaven and angels are saying, glory, glory, glory. Yah. You are our Savior. So the celographic, the leather that's in your fucking mouth, you bitch. Your pacifier, you like it in the booty, you like high heels, and she got that horse booty. And every black woman is in the mirror looking at that what? Celographic ideology of being rode from behind like a horse, but treated like a bitch. So she's an artificial what? Woman. And she loves artificial men. Because they pay for that shit. How we know? They were used in a connection with block books. What's a block book? Block books, also called celographica, or short books up to 50 leaves. Block books printed in Europe in the second half. Such woodcuts, blocks carved include text usually and illustration content and illustration content. Books were nearly always religious. Let's go back. See that? So what is a block book? Because God said he hated stumbling block. Alexa, where in the Bible God hates a stumbling block?
I couldn't find the Bible God hit the stumbling block.
Where scripture in the Bible stumbling block is spoken?
From BibleHub.com. The literal meaning of the Hebrew words an object which causes one to stumble or fall appears in such passages as Leviticus 19:14, Thou shalt not put a stumbling block, mitzvah, before the blind. Compare Jeremiah 6:21.
Okay, so you see what a stumbling block is. Excuse me for a minute, bro. Pandora stumbling block. Spirits. Let me see what we're doing. I felt the wind go past. Death is at my feet. It's okay. So now, stumbling blocks. God hates a stumbling block. Who's that? Block books are also called Xylographica. Or short books up to 50 leaves, block printed in Europe. 15th century. As woodcuts. Shalom Aleichem. Woodcuts with blocks carved to include both text, usually, and illustrations. The content, check this out, y'all. The content of the books was nearly always religious. Now, if they brought the book of stumbling blocks to America, everything you know is just collapsed. And you're welcome. I removed the veil from your eyes just now. Now you can look at the person to the left, to the right, the front, and the back, and now look at the mirror and say, am I a stumbling block? And if my religion come from this content and aimed at a popular, and it's aimed at a popular audience. So if you're a slave and your slave master gives you fragments of the stumbling block, then that means in Greek, Pandora is the magic spell that the Greco-Romans in America has over the black people that's taking your gifts. Don't forget that word homunculus. Keep that in the back of your limbic brain. My fellow book dragons and dragon slayers. Keep homunculus in the back of your limbic brain. And a few titles were often reprinted. How many Bibles is in your hotels? How many versions of the Bible is what? Reprinted. And how many different titles say the same shit? Several editions, usually new woodcuts. Changing the Word of God. Right here. Although many held believe that the block books preceded Gutenberg's inventions of movable types in the first part of what? The 1450s. So anything before the 1450s, you was not reading no Quran or no Bible. No Holy Gita, none of that shit. How we know? Because we was living amongst the people, the ascended masters, because we was a community. We was a race of seers and prophets. And we didn't need to catalog every fucking thing on the planet. We just had to maintain it. Now it is accepted that most of the surviving block books were printed in the 1460s or later, and that the earliest surviving samples may date about 1451. That's 5, 6, 11. What's so significant about 11? In spirit. And they seem to have functioned as a cheap, popular alternative to the typeset book, which was still very expensive at this stage. See? The Bible was very expensive before the black man got it. This block book that God hate, which is a stumbling block, because it would book Daniel in the what? Cell phones and jails. Some companies added watercolor and images. Block books. So when the hand of God touched the Bible, see, Chair hieroglyphic. So when the hand of God touched the black book, Jesus died on the cross of some Jew wood. You see now, where Jesus, Jason, how this whole kingdom was created. And my Dr. Luke voice, do you follow? So we got that connection. So back to printing and wood graving, right? Cover, brayer, leaving ink, colors, the art of carving what? Homewood. A picture of Jesus what? On wood. A picture of Jesus on what? Decayed wood. Picture of Jesus what? Spilling his blood on decayed wood. And they cut him so he can bleed. Or poked him. But this is really used in English for images alone, though. How we know? Because it's connection with the block books. Block, as in block solid, when I'm another one of my companies. See? Block solid, when I put the X, Ten Commandments. Books, Ten Commandments. The truth has come. Ten Commandments. Sure, that's a strong weapon, that double-edged sword. It'll cut through the words like a bone. Through the marrow, baby. With your small books containing text and images in the same what? Block. What is a blockchain? What is a Bitcoin? You see the capital investment in the Bitcoin or in the blockchain? And how somebody say, Clear Image has a Bitcoin account. He's funneling money and he's stealing from the people because how we know? Here's his company name and ID, and we finally found his picture. But meanwhile, I don't practice blocking nobody's blessing. I'm not in a Greek game where I want to protect the quarterback. You know, the tackle and the front blockers. I don't want to protect the running back. The same to keep running what? Back. I don't want to protect the fullback. How I know? Because he's too heavy to catch up when it's time to run to the Most High. I ain't got that much time to wait. I'm out. So I'm not a baller blocker. See? That same block. But they became popular in Europe called football. Right? It became popular in America called the NFL. How we know? Because we got a chain of blockheads called the Texas Titans, Michigan Wolverines, the Pitt Panthers. See? Pitt Panthers. The Carolina what? Panthers. See? And our friends, the who? Baltimore Ravens. And who? The Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears of Greece. The Detroit Lions of England. The Colorado Rockies of who? The red men. The red-haired people who like to live in the mountains. in the Florida Gators. Who? The ones who like feeding people to the crocodiles. Yeah. Now check this out. They became popular. Look, a single sheet wood presented single image print. It says since its origins in China. You see the Joe Biden, China, Russia. See that connection? Look, right here. The dragon been chasing us from China, Europe, and other parts of Asia, and where? South America. What is that called? Latin America. Have you noticed there's no Africa, y'all? I don't know if you noticed there's no Africa up there. For the origins of world domination. Nobody from Africa has ever dominated the world. Why? Because God cursed that land called Kemet, because that's where Abel's blood was first spilled at. The Kemet is not cursed because no story. Kemet is cursed because the blood that is on the land, why it's called black. Jabari. Ask any master teacher or mason or whoever, white, black, green, they'll confirm that, man. What's up? You want to come out? No, you want to shit in my bed. No. You think you slick, y'all? No, Walker, you ain't shitting in my crib. No, you better shit in your crib. Not today. Ain't got you do. It says, since your origins is in China, the practice of woodcut has spread around the world from Europe to other parts of Asia and to Latin America. So, what was Africans writing on then? If the world was advanced and it started in China, Europe, going towards Asia, going east and not west or south. To the east, my brother, to the east. Why? Because we're Afro-Asiatics. Natural man of the rising sun. Why? Because it goes to the east. Because his origins is in the Oriental, where he oriented with the sun. Ship. Traditionally, the artist designed the woodcut, designing who? The golem, or the designing someone document, black and white, that these masons who built the society behind this shit are carving out on paper this fake people called black and white America. And then the beauty of it is the psychology that y'all believe in black and white supremacy. And that's the big secret here in America, really. That you believe that white supremacy exists and black supremacy exists, and it actually is just a psychosis of a bunch of artificial humans being something that they're not. And don't know that. Man. Look. Check it out. Check out what his name is. And the block carpet was left to specialist craftsmen. Like craftsmen. Who's the craftsman? His name is called Form Schneider, or block cutters. What is a form Schneider? What is a block cutter? What is in order for you to have a block, you need a chisel, a hammer, a square, a razor, and you must have an idea of some type of mental magic or telepathy as you edge your energy and word magic called what? Gospels. You see the connection between the word cutter, G, God, word, gospel, block, cut, cloth, form, Snyder, germ, man, cardinal, the vicar of what? Christ, and the Holy See. What's that? S-E-A. The Sea of Thoughts. Where does the Sea of Thoughts come from? Form Snyder, the block cutters. Those who became well known for their own right. See? Their own right. Not the Mosai's right, their own right. Who form homunculuses. By doing what? Word magic spells. And when they put the words and spells together, they came up with sperm and the eggs of man and woman and made themselves in their likeness an artificial man and woman. You see that? When the fallen man decided to take his sperm and the fallen woman decided to take her egg and mix it and put it in the belly of the beast. When the so-called black man and the so-called black woman have sex and they bore children in the name of Yahweh and they hand that baby over to what? The belly of the beast. That sounds like heaven and hell is your lot. Right? May the angels sing and confirm this and protect me from my enemies. Protect me from those who want to keep this global atrocity. Father, we ask you for protection from those who want to war against me for doing your will. For you said to all the angels in the heavens, things and unseen, that as long as I did my part, that death would never come close to me, that I could hang out with it and see what it does and appreciate it. So, Father, I ask for life and death and myself to walk together, that you may be glorified for this day and forevermore. For your will is the best will. Because now we have artificial men and women who have a what? B and half mentality, who's wicked, who have no mother and father, who was born in the belly of a horse. How we know? Because they love weave. That's why they love weave. It's just unconsciously programmed in their DNA. Yeah. Because they have, that's why they love long fingernails. Why? Because they were born in the belly of the beast. Yeah, they were born in the belly of the beast. We're reading it. They was formed to cut and made into a homunculus, put in a jar, putting in some cow shit, horse shit, pig shit. See, that's why they say you are what you eat. Did you notice people that love shrimp? You cut the back of a shrimp, that's all it is shit and sulfur, and niggas will pick out. Go down south. Crab fest like a motherfucker, man. Crab fest. Praise y'all. Crab fest. Pork. Everything the Bible tell you not to eat, they tell you don't eat this shit. Because if you don't eat this shit, you'll find out if the truth is in you. You'll find out if you can digest the truth or not. You learn some shit, nigga. But nope, you want to be a Pink Panther with a red hat, come on, blood gang. And then you want to do the opposite of that, come on, I'm a Crip. And I'm like, oh shit. More nigga shit. That's where that nigga shit, that's where the word nigga shit come from, y'all. And the word monkey shit, because you was literally, an egg and sperm was literally put in the heat of fresh monkey shit. That's where they keep zoos. Believe it or not, that's where they kept zoos. They would take the warm shit, put it in an incubator, and put human embryos in there, and let it naturally, let the chemicals and stuff of the shit, let it turn into a little something, and then put it in something else, and watch it turn into something else. And then they would breed that into what? Into their own image. What did the Bible say? Let us make man in our own image. Go get the Bible right now. There's it right here in your face. Who said let us make man in our own image? And if I'm already here, then who the fuck is they talking to? Somebody that's below man. Y'all never got that riddle, did you? How many times you read the Bible? Straight up. No matter what religion or scholarship you got. Those clear vision. Wlisses.com. Clear ink, solid ink, block, solid. Yep. Blocking books. Or block solid, meaning solid, the foundation is solid. You can trust this because it's been proven. The whole prophecy we reveal some shit. Matter of fact, I think we'll leave it right there where it's at. No, matter of fact, we're just gonna go ahead and let it go through and play some music or something. That's what we do. Let's put some slap on here, man. We play a little slap. Oh, this is the computer. I got my phone here. Let's see. We can try it.
The making, and we're really excited to present it. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and strange world of the homunculus, a being that has captivated the minds of alchemists, mystics, and philosophers for centuries. It has been referenced throughout history by several reputable historical figures of science such as Paracelsus and John Dee.
Wlisses.com.
But is this simply a made-up story? The homunculus was said to be a tiny, fully formed human created through mystical and or alchemical means. But the question is, was the homunculus ever more than just a myth? Was it only possible to create tiny humans? What was this process of creating this supposed miniature man? Or could this even be a reference to some type of ancient form of cloning or artificial reproduction for full-sized humans? The ancients were known to be curious about the secrets of life in the natural world. Could it be that they had devised a method to artificially create humans without the need for sexual intercourse? An early form of a test tube baby that could lead to the creation of a human being? Keep that question in mind as we continue to explore. I want to give a big shout out to Juan from the Juan on Juan podcast. He sent me some books and a bunch of notes that really assisted us in creating this video, and I really couldn't have created the video without him. He's the guy that knew the most about homunculus in the community, so definitely go check him out on Instagram, YouTube, and just go show him some love. Also, before we start, make sure you check out the Cabbage Patch video series playlist, as it connects with everything we will be discussing. And this video is a continuation of the series. With that, enjoy the show. Warning, what you're about to watch is the most insane video you'll ever see. Now's your chance to turn back.
Tarantula. Look it up. As mystical soldier, Puranus tarantula. Punis tarantula was preferred, like tarantula.
Most
So
people
think
in the
about
modern
Mystical
day are very
and the
familiar
artist.
with the concept of the
Mystical, the
homunculus.
artist, and the tarantula,
artificial
or
man created in
subconsciously
God.
was what?
It's one of the most searched
Listen.
terms on Google, and in 2016, the term was revived due to viral videos under a Russian YouTuber who insisted he had discovered the method of creating a homunculus. These videos convinced millions, but it wasn't long until they were proven to be fakes. This ended up with the term losing credibility and leading many to believe that this entire subject is just a joke. The idea of the homunculus in the scientific community in the modern day has been denounced as the mere fantasies or imagination of medieval writers in the 17th century. Yet, these mainstream
What do
historians are not willing to explore some
insect got to
areas
do
of
with a cherry
thoughts on
tree,
this
man?
topic, specifically esoteric secrets, as it is outside their expertise. But this knowledge delves into the science and art of the alchemist. Alchemy is the foundation of modern science, so it's important for one to take the subject seriously, especially when we can read what the scientists of that time actually
Selective
wrote
breeding
on
of
the
what?
subject.
The cherry,
We
the
must
coochie.
remember as we begin to dive into this
That's why
material,
China
that
don't
the
want
term
too many what?
homunculus may have
Females.
threefold meaning.
Why? Because
Meaning,
selective
it's
breeding.
not so singular in its
And they're
definition.
doing it here in
It may
America.
have multiple layered meanings.
Stop.
We know that homunculus is Latin for
What's that?
little person.
What am I
Culus meaning little and homo for man or mankind.
See?
Interestingly, the
What?
origins of the word go back to Proto-Indian European term dogomon.
Put this back. Let me rewind that.
Ability and leading many to believe that this entire subject is just a joke. The idea of the homunculus in the scientific community in the modern day has been denounced as the mere fantasies or imagination of medieval writers in the 17th century.
Listen.
Yet, these mainstream historians are not willing to explore some areas of thoughts on this topic, specifically esoteric secrets, as it is outside their expertise. But this knowledge
Listen.
delves into the science and art of the alchemist. Alchemy is the foundation of modern science.
Stop. So now we get that in. Woodcut. Who is Jesus' father? Carpenter. What did a carpenter do? He cut wood. He cut God out the Hebrew scriptures, man. And put a fake God on decayed wood, man. So the Messiah never died on decayed wood. He never died on wood at all. And it's not a cherry tree wood because it's called yew wood. AKA, I wish you would. And where I damn near died on how many fucking times in Homewood. I'm like, death is not my home. I'm out. I'm now even deeper in hell. I'm like, this is some bullshit. Death always knocking at my fucking door. I'm like, damn, I'm busy. So why is China and America and England upset with Donald Trump? Because he's exposing the cherry tree. The breeding selection in China and with England and what they're doing in Africa, Brazil, Mexico, to these children. What they're doing is they're taking their semen or whatever it is and they're mixing it and creating their artificial bodies to put their demonic spirits in. And these things are coming off the ground like tarantulas or a poisonous cherry tree or poisonous blood called zombies. How we know? Because everybody has a tattoo in where? China. Everything is colorful in China. Why? Because the light is false in them. And so what they see in their DNA, they put on their body. And what they put on their body is what they put on their streets, and what they put on their streets is what they build on top of it. And what's that? A whole bunch of cameras, digital electricity, and wanted to monitor. So why would they want to monitor something so much? Because they don't want the birth of the man-child coming to the planet. And they thought what they could do was use the Chinese calendar. All four corners of the earth got together to see if they could use their celestial calendars to pinpoint Orcus and the son of the Most High come together. And then harnessing that energy. It's called the resurrection without death. You didn't read that, did you? You don't have to die to resurrect. That was the great secret. And I'm a living proof of that. You can go through everything that it showed you that dude on the cross went through and still be resurrected. No matter how many cars hit you, throw it out the window, stab, beat, punch, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, no matter what the fuck it is, the Most High will revive you. And then put you as a beacon of light on the hill of your own for the whole world to see. Be it social media, or just a quiet step through life, touching people with kind words and teaching people how to breathe through their nose and not their fucking mouth. How we know? Because he blew breath into the nostrils of man and woman, not his fucking mouth. So shut the fuck up, bitch. Thus says the Lord. There's no truth in you. How we know? Because you won't shut the fuck up. You fucking dog. You fucking parrot. You don't know that you're literally been born in the belly of the beast. Literally. And you love it. Now that you know, now what you gonna do with it? I'm gonna leave it right there. Now who's the crackhead, pussy? Who's the thief, pussy? Who's the liar, pussy? You Pink Panther? Pink Panthers come out. Pink Panthers come out. There's a witch with an island with a bunch of pigs on it. And we got Winnie the Pooh and his piglet friends over there too. Chocolate City's over there, Atlanta. The Bible Belt's there too. Wrap your head around that motherfucker. Or hang yourself with that belt. Ain't y'all tired of being hung with that Bible belt, man? Real shit. I've never heard not one comedian use that terminology, being hung by the Bible belt. Found one. That's a Dobalicious.com moment. That's mine. Don't use that, comedians. That's my shit. Because I'm using that Bible belt to hang you with. Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Anybody else who want to claim God and Jesus on stage telling some motherfucking whacked ass jokes, though they'd be funny, I'll be cracking up too, but it's still whack. Oh, by the name of Jesus, and right? You're talking to your father, the great deceiver, who died on what? Decayed wood over what? Decayed bodies. With what? Yale even tells you Skull and Bones 32, which is 5. Sheesh, meaning fallen star. Let's see, there's a thick wax in my ear or somebody actually got it. So now we know why it's social engineering, selective breeding, right? Prune, selective or breeding to prune, right? To prune a baby or a girl from out of the planet, because I want 3 females to every males. So I got a main queen bee, and I have all these little bees, and they'll drop their semen in this corral boxwood. Let's see what they look like. Boxes, a genus of Abbott, 17 species in the family. So you have this type of people. Stamping, rubbing. What else we got? Complex wood mechanism, Japanese, barren. Listen, you see. Barren or barren, right? A disc-like tool with a flat bottom, not a handle. Burnish, rub the back of the sheet of paper, lifting ink from the block. Flat coil bayonet. The mandrake species or mandrake. Bamboo. You've been bamboozled. I don't know. Let's go back. So this is a crab. Okay, I thought it was a tarantula, but this is a crab. Cancer. So that's here goes back to that billy goat thing in the last video. My dad supposed to come down with colon cancer. Miss Thompson in the building is supposed to have cancer. And now this crab represents cancer. And this crab and the zodiac sign play with the what? The fish that saved Pittsburgh. See the guys in the water? See the crab? I need this picture. I need this. Here we go. Got it. Now, what I'm going to make together. Now check this out. I want to bring this problem shit together right now. I gotta lay down, man. This is heavy. Seriously. The crab that played with the sea. This is Poseidon. This is Celestial. I want to see something real quick. I want to see something. It'll stop. I know it's going to stop. This is how they made laws. This is how they made the black man. The German is how they made the black man on paper. Yup. Uno, instrumental, e impertinendum, scriptures et your images. An instrument for printing text and pictures, with 14 stones for printing, meaning the 14 generations or stones from the Messiah. Right here. I'm dizzy right now. I don't want to fuck it up. Man, that's why I like my Chromebook, man. I could. Oh, here we go. Oh no. I got a screenshot. Shit. You hear the horn blow, y'all? Sounds like freedom. It does. Sounds like freedom. More tools. Try to find an extension, man. Oh, snap. Hey, look. And it's 14:44 right now because I'm making the decisions. The stunt just came to me at 14. The thought just came into me at 11,444, which is 114.44. It's to the 144,000 plus. I cannot give this to y'all like this. All right, we're gonna have to be close and personal somehow. I don't know, but it's this foggy stuff is not allowing me unless you invest in saving our people, or what we can save from the coming things. Somebody's gonna need to invest in some of that money, man. So we get the fuck up out of here. If somebody got a crib, something, whatever, get up out of here so we can sit, shop up, and get this information out. This is not a game. And really, I'm tired for real, man. My back fucking hurt, and I still gotta keep pressing. Remember homunculus, right? The Canterbury Tales of 24 publication, you notice 14 is very significant. Unfinished at Chaucer's death. That's when they added Jesus as the Son of God. At this table, these 24 people from different nations devised a plan against the people of God. See, at this time, all of the world has already hold on, y'all. Most of all the religions of the world had all did their part like a tentacle on an octopus. Alright? And this 24 armed octopus, they took care of the 12 tribes at night, and then they had the 12 tribes in the day. And this is where they put you on a Julian clock, because you got Julian of Norwich. Langland Air Force Base, William Langland, where you get somewhere like prologue, general prologue. See, if you look at the names, matter of fact, let's go see where prolong or prologue y'all get this from. Oh, hold up, hold up. Who's their Julian calendar? Dane, dog, mother who, Julius Caesar, or ancestor, anchor. Revelations of what? Their version of divine love. Remember, some of these are artificial. Homunculus. And understand fairy tales, duck tales. The prick of conscience had all the benefit as the preservation of dogmatic religious subject matter. Even the oldest surviving manuscripts of the Tales or Nat Chaucer's originals. Ellen DeGeneres, or the examples is the Ellesmere, is a book. Right? What's the Ellesmere? Ellesmere Chaucer manuscript, Canterbury Tale, Illuminated or Illuminati, Godfrey. Right? Might be a Spaniard, whatever. But Godfrey or either Geoffrey or Geoffrey or Godfrey, whatever fuck, they related. Fuck that. You get Earl of what? Oxford, that runs America's judges and court systems. And they're in San Marino, California, where what? See, one of the wealthiest places in the nation turns the household of who? People who hate God. And here are their illuminations. Knight, Miller, like Mick Miller, Pittsburgh, Reeves, Dan Reeves. There's a cook somewhere who's a man of law. The wife of Bath, Friar, Summoner. See? The Clerk of Courts. Corporate America. The church. Franklin. Who? Who's on your dollar bill? George Franklin or George Washington, but there's a Franklin. I remember somebody Franklin something. You get your healthcare system. You get your partners, your craftsmen. You get your shipping men for taking the cargo of bringing babies to the earth, or maritime law. Your priorists, where they organize and make sure people do what the fuck they got to. The Chaucer, the Monk and Law, the dog ass niggas. You got the nuns, right? This is what I'm curious. Look. Nuns, priests. Now you know nun in the Bible means fish. Now, why would they cut out nun from our culture and put it with this priest? Why would they put the fish priest? Because that's what nun means in Hebrew, in Aramaic. How did Hosea get cut out of the Bible of saving Israel and Jesus put in there to save Israel as the high priest? As Ellesmere or Ellis, godless mare. The godless mare. Here you go, ride on the horse. Here go Jesus. Ride on his donkey, I guess. I don't know. Nun's Priest is the Ellesmere manuscript of Godfrey's Charles of Canterbury Tales. Date, Sunset Berkeley College Education. Source, author is anonymous. He better be. You must include United States public domain tag to indicate why this work is in the public domain in the United States. Note that a few countries have copyright terms longer than 70 years. Mexico has 100 years, Jamaica 95, Colombia 80 years, Guatemala and Somalia have 75 years. To do what? Note that a few companies have copyright terms longer. So they have copyright terms longer than America. Nun's Priest Tale. What's that about? How did Jesus save Israel? How did these? I want to know how the nun, because that's the name of quote unquote Joseph, which I'll say later on became Jesus' father's name. That, in other words, Moses cut Hosea off the decay wood and put Jason on there. That was the greatest magic trick ever. So since they took the real Messiah off the Jew wood and put the fake Messiah on there called Jesus, now we know how they hid it in this priest tale. How? Because if you read according to the Bible, King James, when they went to war against King Charles, right, and rewrote the shit, they said we can't let the fish and Pittsburgh, or the Pittsburghers, fuck this shit up. Because this is a government society. How we know? Because this is the Commonwealth government. This is not the United States government. This is the government of the Commonwealth we're talking about. The first government of America. Everything else is some other shit. We're talking about the first 13 original colonies government that really has say-so what goes on in heaven and earth. Star Wars. This is the, what they call the Death Star. We get to the center of the Death Star. So we know in the Bible that they said that Moses used the cut wood to change Hosea to Joshua. Now go back some years, look at some of my videos when I told y'all, before you teach the Bible or anything, or before you let somebody teach you anything, research typology. Its origins, its art, and who in history used it to control the people, aka the minds of the artificial intelligence, and how they manipulate the artificial intelligence into controlling those who are uncontrollable. How I know? Because my mom just told me. I'm going to tell you what my nanny goat told me. Here's what the witch told me. The witch, so-called my mom, my mother, my nanny goat. And I quote, Omar, you're out of control. Well, according to this video, obviously. So, who wants me to do what they want me to do, who's being controlled by people who's doing shit that God don't want nobody to do? And it says, knowing this priestess tale of the cook and hen. The cock and the hen. It's called the tale of the cock and the hen. Let's read this shit. Now, the nun's priest tale. In Latin, Nunes. Priestess. It sounds like priestess, huh? But it's priest. But if you say it in English, it sounds like a female. Priestess. So you associate a nun with what? A female priestess. Lie. So if you are a Catholic nun, you've been lied to under the pretense of being a what? A priestess. In the original Latin. Ancient classical Latin. Nunes, priestess, which is priest for males. So now we hear how the universal church is being poisoned. And it's the tale of the what? The obelisk cock and the coochie hen. Or the chicken and hen. Or you put a hen and a cock together, you get chicken hawk or chicken cock. And that's why Black people and white people love what? Cock and sex, chicken eating, watermelon, beer buck chucking motherfucker. Comma, the Chanticleer and the Pertelote is one of Gutenberg's tales. These people with the pork. See? See the pork? Right there. The magnum opus. What's that? Masterpiece. The black man and the black woman is considered a masterpiece. Matter of fact, look. Opus Magnum is a puzzle-based programming game developed by Zeston. It was released for Microsoft Windows. In the game, player must assemble what? So what is that? What's a masterpiece? The black man wanted to kill for a Gucci belt. Masterpiece. What is Michael Jordan's masterpiece? Did a black man and black woman's willing to sell their child for a tennis shoe? And every blood spilt, the devil rewards them. Thank you, master of work. Thank you. The creation of Adam. Wow. They created their version of Adam 1508. There you go. Here's the artificial man right here. Look at this. Pay attention to this. This is Prometheus. This is this is a golem with no brain. He doesn't have a brain. All right. Look at this. What this says. I see it. Shit. Basically, what this is saying, he has no brain. He's primitive as hell. How we know? He's naked. He don't have a woman. Because the real Adam is made of earth. You see that? There's two Adams here. The one made without the breath, one that is made of something else. That's not from the earth. You get the one that's made from the earth. So you get two creation stories. One of earth and one not of earth. And he sits on top of the earth getting touched by what? False knowledge. Because here's the red, cape or the Red Riding Hood. And here's the pink knowledge. See all the babies, the androgynous. Got a guy carrying him naked with the turquoise, meaning water type symbolism. He got the blue hair, white, because he has the wisdom of what? How to birth life through water. So here's the pineal gland, the thyroid gland. 1, 2, 3, 4. These main pictures is your crystal palace. One that carries your pineal gland, right, to the knowledge of all things. The thyroid gland, or sorry, I can't remember that gland, but there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they represent their version of Orion's belt. We call it a Bible belt. See, the Orion's belt is in the man of the earth, Adam. Why? Because the sun touched the earth. Thus we are what? Sun children. And we grow like the earth, Mother Earth wisdom. So we're born with this knowledge. But this pink man, his knowledge comes from what? A red-hooded thing. A red dragon, which is knowledge. The brain is red. Dragon. Dragon knowledge. And in his mind are elements. Water. Turquoise. A sign of, I believe, elegance, more or less. A peacock type thing, like a fashion. Something to do with being beautified or something. You got these things in the back that's red. And they're looking, one looking at him. He's looking at the scene. He looks like he's trying to hold some shit back. There's a kneecap right here with this same ribbon going up over here of somebody's leg. But his arm is going around his neck and touching his shoulder, pointing at him. His lizard brain is holding him back from touching this lifeless thing here. So a battle is going on in the mind. According to Michelangelo's creation of Adam, because now we have a what? Homunculus. Let's go to that word. Now, the Nun's Priest Tale, composed in 1390s. So, if you're reading the Bible, Black Jesus, and it tells you in the Old Testament that Moses took a wooden block out of the history of God's people and said, Hosea no longer exists, and now Joshua, Jason, Jesus, is the king of Israel, and he died for our sins, then you're saying that a beast fable, a monk epic based on an incident in the Renard cycle. What's a Renard cycle, Black Jesus? The Renard fox. Okay, Black Jesus? Black preacher, black anything when it comes to being saved by the sins in God. So who's this fox who lies and steals and robs and destroys? Who's this little clever little fox? Where he come from? Oh my. The Roman de Rayart, the end of the 13th century. And it's called the Illumination. And you see the art of the two fox fighting, riding on horses. Now, if that's not a homunculus, I don't know what is. Let's hear what that is. Listen.
So it's important for one to take the subject seriously, especially when we can read what the scientists of that time actually wrote on the subject. We must remember as we begin to dive into this material that the term homunculus may have dual-fold meaning, meaning that it's not so singular in its definition, and may have multiple layered meanings. We know that homunculus is Latin for little person, culus meaning little, and homo for man, or mankind. Interestingly, the origins of the word go back to Proto-Indian European term dogomon, meaning of the earth, similar to the Old Irish Mdena. This connects to the clay references that we will see later, as the homunculus is also said to be depicted as small statues made out of clay. One of the earliest historical references to the concept
Pink
of the
Panther.
homunculus is found in the work of the ancient Greek philosopher
Pan-African.
Aristotle. He explored the
Black
notion of
African-American.
biogenesis, or the idea
Moorish
that living
American.
organisms could emerge directly from the
Islamic
non-living
American.
materials. This is referenced to as spontaneous generation.
Let's go.
In his work De Generation and Animalium, Aristotle examined the belief that certain life forms like mice and maggots could spontaneously arise from inanimate substances such as soil or grains. It gets really interesting because many, if not all, the ancient Greek philosophers believed in a form of this abiogenesis or spontaneous generation. This was based off an ancient biological science known as preformationism. Preformationism states that organisms develop from miniature versions of themselves. It's important to note that preformationists believe that the form of the living thing exists prior to their development. We'll connect this later. Also, Pythagoras is credited as one of the earliest thinkers to explain the origin of form in biological production, suggesting that the father contributes the essential characteristics of the offspring, while mothers contribute only a material substrate. It's important to note the similarity between supposed ancient Greek
The
Neoplatonic
black
thought
woman is God.
and magical
Next.
systems used
Because
by the
that Kimmy
alchemists.
teaching bullshit.
The question is,
That
were
tongue,
the
that
Greek
just tumbled.
philosophers
Next.
secretly alchemists
Told
in
you,
discussing
I-
a different type of
I
biological
told you don't wake
production?
me up. Y'all kept fucking with me.
This will all be brought to question.
So my turn.
Spontaneous generation can be found in ancient works by revered poets like Ovid. In Ovid's Metamorphoses, he describes the creation of life through alchemical elements, the earth, the air, and water, bring forth, suggesting that living organisms originated from inanimate elements, wind combined with fire. Another ancient Greek author on this subject is Anaximander, who believed that life originated from a primordial mixture of earth and water, and that simpler organisms emerged first, followed by more complex life forms. This arguably is the precursor to modern evolution, as Anaximander suggested that humans initially arose from a different type of animal, possibly a fish or fish-like creature.
None.
The early human ancestors underwent a process of gradual development and adaptation to life on land.
Come on, us.
The key difference, other than natural selection, being Anaximander believed in a primordial mixture, and the concept
That's
of
why they changed the word
spontaneous
none in the
creation.
Bible. Told you.
There are other authors who speak on this. Interestingly, the Greek philosopher Empedocles, who lived in the 5th century BC, proposed that heavy rainfall mixing with the earth would become fertile and spontaneously generate various life forms.
Black
He
man.
believed that the combination of water and earth produced a wide
Woman.
range of organisms,
Yup.
including insects and other small creatures.
See?
The idea
Queen
is,
Bee, Beyonce.
these ancient authors, including
I'm a
Aristotle
savage.
himself, were just simply mistaken, according to the
Boogeyman, Boogie Down Productions.
Interestingly, in
Tarantula,
Homo Deus,
mystical.
there's a section in Book 19
P.
where
Diddy.
it discusses a body being
Drake
defiled by
or
flies,
Dracula.
and the possibility that worms would come from them digging into the
Versace,
wounds.
Versace.
What this shows is that they were well aware of the life cycle of a fly, so obviously they were discussing some other matter here when it comes to the spontaneous creation of other animals such as mice and frogs. They knew about the fly
Gucci and
life
Gemini.
cycle, but it would take over 2,000 years from this first reference to supposedly debunk spontaneous generation. I'm not so sure if I buy that whole story. Before we get into the details of the homunculus, it's important to understand that there was an entire debate on this subject. This is a matter that had already been discussed for thousands of years, and then took hundreds of years of debate. But even in the mid-1800s, when Darwin published On the Origin of Species, his entire theory depended on spontaneous generation, or as Thomas Huxley termed it, abiogenesis. According to the skeptics, the late 1600s experiment by Francesco Redi supposedly debunks the notion of spontaneous generation entirely. This really isn't a fair argument, as it's debatable whether or not this experiment completely debunks spontaneous generation as a whole. First, it's important to note that Redi was a Jesuit with a mission to debunk spontaneous generation, a belief that was widely held at that time, and interestingly, during the 17th century, around the same time as Redi's experiment, the concept of the homunculus began to fade from the mainstream scientific discourse. Redi is often considered a turning point in disproving the theory of spontaneous generation, but the subject of spontaneous generation is not limited to simply flies and worms. 1. It was an experimental design, and it really was not comprehensive enough to fully debunk spontaneous generation in its entirety. Yet, it is constantly referenced in that manner. It is possible to argue that this experimental design did not account for all the possible scenarios. 2. There are numerous historical references to spontaneous generation from respected figures such as many Greek philosophers and even Roman poets, yet they were aware of the life cycle of the fly. 3. It really is a subjective interpretation of the outcome of the experiment and could be argued flawed completely. For example, the reason the maggots did not form in the sealed jars is because the
I know we
necessary
bring
conditions
that
for
jaw
formation were
dropping
just not met.
information, I know.
In many cases, the instructions for spontaneous
Come on.
generation are cryptic and ritualistic in nature.
Told them
Who's
outside
to
with us,
say
but y'all
he
playing.
performed the ritual correctly? These experiments were in the late 1660s.
I put
It
my
is
work
an
in.
important experiment to note, as it initiated further scientific study, but of course, that's just the mainstream narrative. Ironically, modern mainstream historians scoff at the idea of spontaneous generation, but in many cases, they are willing to consider alternative sci-fi ideas such as panspermia that suggest life could have originated from extraterrestrial sources, which could be considered a type of spontaneous generation. This presents an intriguing point for consideration, as there appear to be some contradictions within the mainstream explanation. The prevailing view is that alchemy began to fade following Redi's experiments and the increasing prominence of research using modern scientific methods. Supposedly, these experiments started to challenge the ideas held by alchemists a few centuries prior to the Renaissance.
Barring
However,
alchemists.
This time period was also known as the Enlightenment. So
New
was this-
shit.
Were the alchemists simply misguided?
Uh-oh.
The situation is paradoxical
Was he
because
misguided,
even after
Mason?
alchemy had begun to fade from mainstream science,
Jerk.
prominent scientists in the
Man, woman.
1700s, such as Isaac Newton, remained
An
interested
artificial
in
man
alchemy
trick
as if it were a
deceive
vast
you.
secret knowledge awaiting
Bamboozle.
rediscovery. Why was Newton studying alchemy even hundreds of years after it declined in scientific thought? He would even correspond with Robert Boyle, the first chemist and one of the founders of modern chemistry, discussing the subject of alchemy in secrecy. Not only did they keep their interest secret, but it also became their life's work. Newton was the president of the Royal Society for over 20 years. That's a pretty big deal, and although there isn't any specific proof that Newton was a Freemason, there are many arguments that support that
shit.
he could have indeed been connected or associated
How did
with a
disease
secret
get
order
into
of
our-
some kind.
What?
I mean, the
Told you
Royal
I ain't mad
Society
at y'all,
itself,
brothers.
as well as the foundation of
dog,
modern
man.
science, was influenced by Masonry, so it's a pretty fair question. Now, as we progress, we'll be taking a look into the history of secret societies and the use of
This
cryptic
was
occult
before you was
symbolism.
born, nigga.
This will assist in understanding how some of this
Shut
information
up!
may have been lost or suppressed over time. The Royal Society was founded by Robert Boyle, who we know was deeply associated with alchemy, and by another figure named Christopher Wren, the famous English architect responsible for rebuilding 52 churches after the Great Fire of what a coincidence, 1666, which that's a whole story of its own on how
That's
it
right,
was
Rob
possibly
Boyle.
set up by the Masons. Very
It's
getting
synonymous
around.
to Boulay.
It's well established that Christopher Wren was a Freemason. Therefore,
See?
what we're looking at with this revival of alchemy is that during this later time period of the early 1700s,
The new Bible,
knowledge
alchemy.
from a previous generation of
Gospels,
elite brothers
gossip.
were lost and discussed
Sparrows,
between the higher echelons of
free
society.
tails, animal tails,
In this
beast
case,
fables.
the scientific elite
All
of the
mixed
later
into one,
Enlightenment
man.
period were attempting to rediscover or preserve the secret of the sciences of earlier brotherhoods. So, some people are willing to believe that in the present day, that aliens have the ability to clone, and we've seen this in many movies many times, or that the government is secretly cloning individuals and that there are hidden underground cloning laboratories.
Living in human-like society.
Whether this is true
Clones.
or not, if you're willing to consider such possibilities in the modern time, well, it's only fair to consider that similar activities may have occurred in the past as well.
See?
Cloning?
Called beast
This could
fable.
have been the most closely guarded secret of the esoteric societies, which were
Right
controlled
here.
by the royal elite families.
You have the
during
answer
that
what he's
time.
talking about right now.
Of course, some
See
may
how we work
argue that
together?
this is because we possess a different technology and scientific understanding today.
Yup.
However, that argument originates from a perspective fed to us by these royal societies, Rosicrucians, Jesuits, and Freemasonic brothers, or the 17th century scientists unveiling new scientific advancements and technological progressions.
See?
Many of these scientists and
Sin in the
refinements
machine.
are funded by these royal elite
China.
institutions, which can be clearly
The dragon.
identified through their coat of arms.
Talk to the beast.
Even if we trust the mainstream narrative and the level of technology presented for each age, we should always consider that the highest forms of technology would be guarded by the elite of its time. For example, something like the Ark of the Covenant. Perhaps the science didn't involve or depend on the need for modern machinery or electronics, but instead, it was an advanced occult art whose technique had been guarded for ages. The homunculus can essentially be divided into multi-layered definitions because it simply does not refer to one thing. This will be clear as we progress. The ancient practice of creating a homunculus far precedes alchemy, but we'll highlight that the subject of the homunculus is deeply integrated with the deepest secrets of the alchemical and hermetic tradition. Many have interpreted the Philosopher's Stone as simply a means for creating gold from base metals. But the bigger secret is that the Philosopher's Stone was used for creating artificial life. The homunculus represents far more than just a tiny man or creature created in a jar. One, it refers to a secret ancient art and knowledge of generations
cell
in
research.
combination with alchemy or the capturing and moving of souls.
Not a Bush passed out law.
Two,
You can imagine.
a secret occult double, a double body, another vehicle for consciousness. 3. The capturing of a soul into a non-living object. 4. Esoteric secrets, which we'll get to towards the end. There is much to cover, and every definition will be explained. But this is a
Stem
huge
cell
subject
accounts.
because the homunculus embodies humanity's quest for forbidden knowledge and our curiosity to uncover the mysteries of
See
life.
the, see the money?
Many different subjects connect, especially when we connect it with
Get
an
out!
understanding
Run!
of alternative history, false timelines, and other subjects we have covered in the past. In this investigation of the homunculus, we will cover some of the most prominent subjects associated with this concept, shedding light on their historical significance and impact on the development of modern science. We will focus on the contributions of several influential scientists who were captivated by the mysteries of the homunculus and the principles of alchemy, and how their work significantly shaped the course of scientific
Just enough
inquiry.
money bag is the new
I'm
crack.
sure that most of you have heard about John Dee, or the real 007, the advisor to Queen Elizabeth I, who was also known for his heavy association with the occult, attempting to communicate with angels using an Enochian language, which he claimed was used by supernatural beings. He was deeply interested in alchemy and amassed a massive library of alchemical texts for his studies. He's a very interesting figure because it shows the connection between the governments or elites at their time and how the courts were filled with
You know angels there,
high-ranking
y'all,
figures
eh?
well versed in
Well,
alchemy
find
and
something
the
to do.
occult. He is claimed to be the founder of the Rosicrucian Order, a secret society preceding the Masons, said to be founded around this time period. But it's very likely that they are a secret ancient Catholic order, and we will show this later. But it can indeed be quite shocking as the Rosicrucians are typically associated with Protestants after the 1600s. But there is more to that story, much more to connect when it comes to secret societies, their ancestry, and their relation to this knowledge. The Rosicrucians were fascinated with alchemy, Hermeticism, and blended these ideas with Christian motifs. Some say that there's no evidence to suggest that Dee was a Rosicrucian, but Dee's writings were responsible for an occult revolution in Europe. But the question is, did this interest in alchemy and the homunculus really all start in the early 17th century? Or does this tradition go back from before the creation of religion? Well, there's much more to that story, and there were many other prominent figures from that time period who not only had a massive impact on science and history, but were deeply associated with secret societies. We have an entire section where we dive into the Elizabethan era later and explore his other associates. It would be a great task to cover occult philosophy in its entirety, but it may be important to note for a moment some key points. Hermeticism, an ancient philosophical and spiritual tradition, traces its roots back to the legendary figure Hermes Trismegistus. Often described as the founder of the tradition, Hermes is believed to have authored the Emerald Tablets, a collection of texts that laid the foundation for Hermetic philosophy. These teachings, which have persisted for centuries, delve into the concepts of duality, the union of opposites, and androgynous symbols. At the core of Hermeticism lies the Emerald Tablets, a series of writings that outline the key tenets of the philosophy. Among these principles is the idea of the union of opposites that suggests that everything in existence possesses a dual nature. This concept of duality is further explored through the symbolism of the sun and moon, which represent positive and negative forces respectively. In addition to the notion of duality, Hermeticism also encompasses androgynous symbols, signifying the perfect balance between masculine and feminine energies.
Man, God is
This
good.
union is often depicted through the marriage of the sun and
Wow,
moon,
Most High is good.
embodying the harmony of opposing forces. Hermes Trismegistus is said to be the messenger of the gods, and can be traced back to Thoth, who was believed to be an Atlantean. This ancient ancestry links Hermeticism to a lineage of knowledge that dates back thousands of years. During the medieval ages in the 1600s, Hermeticism gained prominence among scientists and thinkers who were intrigued by its ancient wisdom. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus were passed around and studied, fueling a revival of interest in the Hermetic tradition. This resurgence of Hermeticism had a significant impact on various fields, including alchemy and the exploration of the homunculus. The
Figure.
homunculus embodies the Hermetic principle of the union of opposites, illustrating how the fusion of opposing forces can give rise to new life. Even the origin of the term hermetically sealed, or the process of creating an airtight container, which was crucial to the progression of the scientific enlightenment, can also be traced back to Hermes.
The big bad
We're
wolf.
going to see a lot of three symbolism in this video, as Hermes Trismegistus means thrice greatest Hermes.
Big bad wolf.
This figure was
Huh.
believed to be the divine scribe, credited with authoring the sacred Hermetic works that explored both the material world and the pursuit of spiritual perfection. Alchemists, or the leading scientists of their time, were deeply interested in these subjects, and they adopted Hermes Trismegistus as a patron. Another aspect to consider is the mandrake, as interestingly, it's brought up many times during this period, but this lore, although not exactly the same as the homunculus, is definitely connected, and most of us are well aware of this plant. But the mandrake has been associated with this concept of homunculus, and according to the occult tradition and alchemical philosophy, the mandrake acts as a homunculus and can be sealed in a bottle to serve or represent the magician themselves.
Mandrake in the
It
Bible.
is also said to have hallucinogenic and
Hear that?
supernatural properties. If uprooted, it would scream, killing anyone who heard it. This is very similar to another story we'll hear later. It also seems that this has alchemical applications in the forms of potions and spells, in that the power of the mandrake extended beyond ingesting it. To use it as a fertility aid, the root could be placed under a person's pillow, or it could be kept close to someone ill to treat their condition. In the film Pan's Labyrinth, for example, the heroine places the root in a saucer of milk under her sick mother's bed. Roots were sometimes carved to enhance their human form, and could be carried on the person as a charm or talisman, not only to help with conception, but to help find love and bring good fortune. It has a long history of medicinal use, and one of the oldest and most common uses was a fertility aid. In Genesis, the first book of the Old Testament, Jacob's wives, his sister, Leah and Rachel, compete to provide him with children with the help of a mandrake. In the 1st century, the ancient Greek physician and botanist Pedanius Dioscorides noted the human-like form of the mandrake's roots and indicated its use as an anesthetic for surgical procedures such as amputation. Golem is also connected with this. There are some differences, but it's important that we cover it. A golem is an anthropomorphic being crafted from lifeless materials like clay or mud, and is brought to life through ritual incantations and sequences of Hebrew letters. In many Gollum stories, the creature serves as a helper, companion, or savior of an endangered Jewish community. However, in
Listen.
some tales, the Gollum spirals out of control and becomes a threat to its creator. The most renowned Gollum legend takes place in Prague and features the scholarly Rabbi Lowe. The first practical instructions for creating a Gollum can be found in medieval commentaries on the Sefer Yetzirah. It is believed that fashioning a Gollum was a means for medieval Jewish mystics to draw closer to God. The story of the Gollum of Prague is set in the late 16th century during the reign of Emperor Rudolf II. At this time, the Jewish community in Prague was under threat due to anti-Semitic attacks and accusations of blood libel.
Oh, shit.
Rabbi Lowe, a respected leader and scholar, sought to protect the Jewish community from these threats. According to the legend, Rabbi Lowe created the Gollum using clay from the banks of the Vitava River. He then performed a series of rituals, including the use of divine names, to bring the Gollum to life. The Gollum, named Yosel, was tasked with protecting the Jewish
Oh,
community
shit,
from
what I'm
harm.
doing here.
Yosel, the Gollum of Prague, was said to be immensely strong and able to turn invisible. It patrolled the streets of the Jewish ghetto at night, protecting its inhabitants from anti-Semitic attackers and
See?
even foiling blood libel plots.
Listen.
However, the Gollum could not speak and eventually became uncontrollable, leading Rabbi Lowe to deactivate it. The Gollum is brought to life by inscribing Hebrew words on its forehead, such as the word emet, which means truth in Hebrew. To deactivate the Gollum, one could remove the aleph in emet, changing the inscription from truth to death, met meaning dead. The history of the Gollum reaches back to early Judaism. In the Talmud, Adam is initially created as a Gollum when his dust is kneaded into a shapeless husk. Just like Adam, all Gollums are created from mud by those close to divinity, but no anthropogenic Gollum is fully human. Essentially, it is a story of the magical power of the Hebrew language. Its origins can be traced back to the Sefer Yetzirah, which is a book attributed to the biblical Abraham. Medieval commentators on the Sefer Yetzirah have even believed that Abraham and Jeremiah were able to utilize the knowledge within the book to create, quote, living beings. The fact that Abraham was aware of these methods of creating artificial life will be relevant later in the video. Albertus Magnus, sometimes referred to as Albert the Great or Saint Albert, was a German Dominican friar, bishop, philosopher, theologian, and scientist. He was born in Lauingen, Swabia, present-day Germany, and was a well-known figure in the intellectual and spiritual spheres of the 13th century. Albertus Magnus was a prolific writer.
Let's see about the
His
three
works
little
covered a wide
pigs.
range of topics, including logic, metaphysics, ethics, natural
curious
sciences,
about
and
this.
theology. He was a key figure in the development of scholasticism, a philosophical and theological system that sought to reconcile faith and reason by integrating Aristotelian philosophy with Christian theology. Albertus Magnus is also linked
check this
to a
out.
very mysterious piece of ancient
Six.
technology, the brazen head. This mysterious
use
head
the word, the
supposedly
letter
made
J,
of brass or bronze,
It is
is
Jason
believed to
or
answer
Jason,
any question and
Grimace.
provide wisdom to its creator.
right? Jason.
Some say Albertus
Trickster.
Magnus was its creator,
Or
and
Jesus.
others claim it was the creation of Franciscan
Right.
friar Roger Bacon.
Elegant
Legend
comedy.
has it that Bacon built the brazen
A
head to
mock
help him in the
epic.
pursuit of knowledge and uncover the universe's secrets. Sadly, the brazen head was
This is
destroyed when
mocking
Bacon
you.
didn't listen to its advice, causing the loss of its wisdom and knowledge. In
Mark
another story,
comment. Hold on.
Albertus Magnus is said to have created a brazen head that could speak and answer questions. However, his student, Thomas Aquinas, allegedly destroyed the automaton, fearing it was a tool of the devil. It's not entirely clear where the brazen head originated. Some people think it was inspired by the Greek myth of Talos, a massive bronze automaton crafted by Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths and artisans. Others think that it may have come from the Jewish legend of the Gollum. In a way, this can be seen as the ancient form of what we're seeing today with ChatGPT. Is this some historical reference to artificial intelligence that they were using in the exact same way that we're attempting to do? The difference is that modern AI systems are purely code and simulate the brain. And most of what we experience today in language
Nigga. You're definitely messing with that shit, so we won't be sacrificing nothing today. Here you go. Nope. So I give you the game on that. You got the fox, mockery, cause everybody want to be a trickster when they come and take your shit. Right? You see the Pink Panther? Look. See the red hat? See the red flag? See the Puss in Boots? Was really a fox. See our people, the crows? You see the dog people? You see the pussycat? He's copying off the fox. You see the stork? Oh shit, where'd he go? Where'd it go? Yo. You know what's scary about this shit I'm looking at, y'all? "12 tribes of Israel and 14 generations to the Messiah." What they call the Akasha Records, looking for the one to come. Mr. Rainey Hines. Heinz Ketchup, 57, 12. Goddamn. I know I done touched someone now. That's how I know all this shit's about me. Wow. The wolf. My cousin Rainey's the wolf. Wow. Nice try, cousin. And then you brought your Pink Panthers to come hunt down a Pan-Etherian called Hosea Omar Weathers. Salvation speaks to the ethers. Wow. You attack the very things that are the foundation of all creation. Everything in creation. You was up for killing your own self. Wow. That's impressive. I thought y'all was smarter than that, but since you only divided it into 7 books, what's 7 times 12? It better not be close to 66. I know that. Now 7 times 10 is 70, which is 10 commandments, which would be the Septuagint 70, but one got away. So you wait till they get the 69 going on. And you put the 6 and the 9 together, you'll see Gucci. Yeah. Look at your Gucci belt, and you'll know what time it is. Straight up. It's a magic spell, spiral. It's good, G, to be dizzy. Let's see if we can find some more gossip spells in the Bible. Let's see how Jesus died for your sins. Go understand this, y'all. As we're having this conversation, you have to understand Jesus was dead, but he was undead. Understand that Jesus was alive, but he wasn't alive, but he was alive because his father was, but wasn't. But since he now was and could be, he always will be, because now you know why that makes sense to these things here. Because they're artificial men and women. So that's why it would make sense. Jesus was, but he wasn't anymore. But he was reincarnated because they put him back in a jar called the stone, or what? The philosopher's stone. See, if you read the Bible and just sit back and ask the Most High for his divine wisdom, you'd have found that shit out. But you didn't want to do it your own dharma and karma. Somebody did it for you. AKA, I died for your sin. So technically, to God's version of man, as I'm able today to take my blessings along with other people who are able in a garden of consciousness called life, Eden, and I can go to any gate of thought and exercise the gifts of life and say, here, Father, I took your gift of life and my will called breath, and I wouldn't ask questions on how to please you. And this is what I got. But in the midst of me bringing this to you, Cain tried to kill me. My supposedly mom, dad, the city of Pittsburgh, the police, the federal government. Oh, shit. My bad. I'm sorry, my fault. That wasn't you witches. That was the Most High. Because I was trying to eat candy. I had three other thoughts. Three other words, names you mentioned. Not three other names, but offices. And federal government was one of them. And then hit one of my two. And that shit hurt like hell. AKA, don't talk with your mouth full. Churches, da-da-da. Wow. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. Look. Alligator couplet would mean Word of God, right? So if you're forming poetic words used by what? Other Greek gods and Roman gods, like Calidus, Portus, Ovid, Tibullus, And it's also connected with what? English heroes. Like the French Revolutionary heroes. Now the American heroes in the writing poetry is like America. So that song is in your head. I pledge allegiance to the flag. See? Who would have known Odo Chiriton is where Fubu got his gear from? Paris, France. Fabulous. Fubu. Not for you, by you, but a fabulous. Wow. See, I'll tell you, Latin is one thing, Greek is one thing, but if it ain't classical, like classical Aramaic and all that, you ain't no scholar. I'll give you a heads up. So, what we got here is we got a wolf and we got a fox on a horse, or horses. If you take the fur off a wolf, it's pink. You take the fur off a fox, it's pink. And this is how you get the modern Pan-African American Pink Panther. Alright? And spirit. And since Bloods and Crips and brothers to be in gangs called the Wolf Gang, manages to successfully deceive the fox by one of his schemes. So we know that anybody that runs in packs got a bunch of schemes, right? Wolf pack, fox den. So the wolf runs in packs of schemes, and the fox got a den of schemes, and they have a thing for what? Deception. The wolf in sheep's clothing and the fox in the church. So who's wolf in sheep's clothing? Who's the wolf in sheep's clothing in the church? The deacon. And who's the fox? The pastor. Why? Because he got to teach you how to tell you that God said it's okay to be a glut. The fox has been in the pulpit to trick you and to pay him to tell God that it's okay to have a same-sex marriage. Reinhard, Ray, and Ruds deceives Jason Grimm, right? Because if you put it together, you take the J, like they take the like Yeshua, right? They took the J, they took the Y out of Yeshua and put it with Yasin Grimace, and took the J out of Jason Grimace and put it in for what? Yeshua for Joshua. And so Grimace saved you from the deception of Reinhard. How we know? Go to the ice fishing. Who's in the ice? Jesus. When's his birthday? Winter. Ice fishing. To catch who? None. The children of the Most High. The fish that saved Pittsburgh, remember? Hold up, let me get that up there for you. Hold on. Listen. The video of the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Listen. Listen.
Warning. An epidemic of fish fever is sweeping the nation. It is highly contagious. Fortunately, there is no cure.
Oh, yeah.
It's the fish that's saved Pittsburgh. Fish.
There are places. All places.
It's dazzling. It's futuristic. It's fun. And balloons for everybody. Don't kite your belly. It's got steam. It's got rhythm. It's got style. It's a new sensation. A celebration. And a secret weapon. Music.
Ice fishing. Ice fishing. How you put Pisces, Gemini, and the fish that saved Pittsburgh on ice?
Take an Indian.
Ice fishing, right? It's the process of catching fish with lines. What's the lines? The Bible. What's the lines in the Bible? Scriptures. What's the scriptures? Written by scribes. What's the scribes? Are brood of vipers. How we know? Because they got hooks. What's the hook? The cross. And yet, it's like an anchor. And if a big-ass whale bite an anchor of a ship, it's like a giant hook. And they'll bring that whale to shore and cut his belly out and make what? Rubber soles called Air Jordans. Right? Then after they make the Air Jordans called the fish hooks, we'll spear them niggas in their head with false religion, false ideas. We'll spear chuck them niggas through an opening in their ears and their eyes. In the ice where? Winter. Janus. Christmas. Gifts. Jesus died for my sins. Everybody want to come on, we got Christmas love, and 24 hours later, you back to killing each other. Every year like clockwork. The same nigga and the same bitch say the same shit, do the same outcome. Frozen in time. Motherfuckers literally ice fishing. How we know? Because Jesus said, let's go to the ice hole on the 25th, and let's go find some dumb niggas to fish for. Because we got a few billionaires in this hole we can put in prison or turn to Pink Panthers with our new little penises and shit. Let's go to our ice fish hole in Jesus' name, because we're fishermen men with our 12 dead ice disciples, Colt. And we'll go into our ice hole, or see our ice children, our animal, our likeness, because we gods now. We know how to make a man in our image. That's where I got that book, The Day They Killed God. Check it out. Now check this out. Listen to this shit. Pink Panther. I repeat. Pink Panther. Read this gangster shit. About booty, bucks, buttocks, kissing the witch's ass, the devil's ass. The devil's telling the black man and black woman about your booty, ATM, booty licking, Judy, this, all that sexual bullshit. Here's what Satan, the angels of hell and demons are literally saying. And you put this shit to God and all this shit, your ass is going straight to hell. Let me read this to you, y'all. And this is spiritual too. Remember, because Jesus said, I'm going to hell, and the keys to let my people go. And y'all still in hell. Let's talk about the spirit of life that's in the breath of Jesus and anybody else, whether Jesus is real or not. But we know the spirit of life in the breath is definitely real, because you wouldn't be watching this motherfucking video. That's for sure. So, anybody want to dispute that, you miss me on that. That's not a religion. That ain't money, Mason. That ain't got nothing to do with that. That's a natural fact. You stop breathing, life goes on. Try it. Matter of fact, try it. Not on nobody else, on yourself. I thought so. That's what he said. William Penn, the first penitentiary in the United States and America. Pittsburgh. The burgers. Hamburger. McDonald's. Ronald McDonald is the clown. That's the original man of the country. He made clown, Ronald McDonald. And he has this yellow and red Indian outfit on. Y'all didn't know that. McDonald's is letting you know that you're eating your own children. That's why you don't see Ronald McDonald in them cartoons no more. Or the hamburger in them. Because somebody figured out on the low that Ronald McDonald really meant that they was clowning the American Indian called the black man. And then he started feeding your babies to you after abortion. Facts. Don't you like pork butts? Yeah. Big butts. No female. I like big butts, but I can't not lie. Speaking of which, hold on. Listen to this as y'all read it. I like Big Butts by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. She looks like one of those
Let me read this to
rap
you.
guys' girlfriends
The prisoner said to his captor,
who understands
you don't know what
It
you're
only
saying,
works for her
comma,
because
deceiver,
she looks like a total
Satan.
prostitute, okay?
I have all of Scotland,
It's just so
Wright, Weathers, Thompson,
I can't believe
hanging
it's so brown.
from my ass, buttocks.
Gross.
Listen,
She's just so
listen.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. They want a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up front cause you notice that butt was stuck. These are the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I wanna get hooked up and take your picture. My homeboy tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes me rumpa smooth skin. You say you wanna get in my bins? Why use me, cause you ain't that average groupie. I seen her dancing. To hell with romancing. She's wet. Got it going like a turbo vet. I'm tired of
Guardia,
magazines.
toda vez.
Solve a thing.
Guardia, toda vez.
Attract much back. So
Rumbus, go get that.
shake that healthy butt. Baby got ballet.
You're a liar, deceiver. Scotland hanging from my ass right now. Hello, give me my shit, give me my shit, give me my shit, give me my shit. Crow, check it. Hello. Yep. I have on Scotland hanging from my buttocks. From my nuts. Wanna crush my nuts. They wanna crush my bones. They wanna kill my ass. They wanna ride it on my ass. They wanna ride on my donkey. Eddie Murphy. Donkey. Wanna ride on my ass. But Scotland donkey. Scotland donkey. Donkey. No more monkey talk. No more monkey talk. No more monkey talk. I have all the Scotland hanging from my buttocks, my ass. Because everybody else wants to kiss the devil's ass, you bitches. So yeah, we got Scotland hanging, swing, bounce, happy, hustle. Yeah. Hello. What? Nope. Okay. Hello. What? Tell him. Cosmo. At all. Right? What? At all. Right? Tell him. Right? Right? Haters. Right? Oh. What's up? Demolitions.com. Right? Hey, Zach. Hey, you. You are salvation. You are our salvation. You are our salvation. You are our salvation. Ooh. That was the shit. That was the shit. Oh shit. Oh shit, y'all. Right, that ain't for this right now. A Jason Grimm, Jesus, is usually held to be an allegory for a corrupt monk. Oh shit, Jesus is a corrupt monk? Yeah, the magician of the Roman Catholic Church. Oh my gosh. The interpretation. Oh, I'm about to pass out, y'all. Hold up. All right, this is too heavy for me. Hold on. I gotta make sure I'm looking at what I'm looking at, y'all. Wow. Hold up. All right. Wow. The wolf's greed. The Catholic Church's greed. Jesus' greed. And after they chased after my grandfather. And when he got to Africa, somehow he got killed. The child got away. Somehow they get to the United States. They get to at the time America. They meet the Delaware, what is known in history as Delaware Kings, and they mix with the Scottish guy here because he had to leave England. Why? Because he had, hold up, cancel. Hold up, I'm missing something here. I think we're ready to end this, man. I'm overwhelmed right now. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm really overwhelmed. Yeah, when this Terry Cartwright just told me I was going to be a major, some shit I've never expected. This definitely something. I you know what's crazy? If this is true, I eagerly accept what it's supposed to be. Why? I might ask. Hello. Hello. Who? Jared Rennie? May I ask who's calling? I want to know who's calling my phone. Before I answer your question, what are your business? Ma'am? You didn't even say what company you was with. No, no, no. I see. I cannot. I see. Stop. State your company first before you answer anything, because I don't know. You can tell me you could be Satan all that. You might be Jesus Satan thing. You could be, because right now let's not exchange personal names and identifications, because that's criminal. Let's stay each other's business. Hi, my name is. Come on. What is that? Why are you calling my phone? I'm poor as hell. Hey, guess what? Hey, whoever that did that, right? Prosecute their ass. And no, really, is this recorded, right? When you catch them, I'll verify that this is not their phone, and I didn't co-sign for nothing. Because this call is right on time. Because I'm on my own personal investigation too. Somebody did a lot of offshore accounts and false accounts. So now y'all hear my voice on the phone's recorded. And what it is, this guy who's international, called for the Morse American Society, whatever these monkeys is into. All right, they claim to be international. Matter of fact, I'm looking at a map right now of the little North African, Moorish American come to America magic bullcrap. causing this uproar in our economic system. So maybe we can help each other out. So now, and you chat right in because I'm looking at the map right now. I'm making a Facebook video because we're talking about the same stuff and where they're at. This group, Moorish Americans in Philadelphia, Ohio, a guy's name is Oswald Godfrey. They're in Philadelphia, some child children trafficking. This guy named Manolo Monero in Maryland. There's another one in UK. There's somebody in the service. There's just so much of them. They're stupid, basically. That's why there's just so much, how much we know about them, that they're just that stupid. And it's like, who's taking this long to get these monkeys off the street? Like, we got stuff to do, right? So, long story short, now that I have enough of my vibration and my algorithm, my name is Hosea Omar Weathers, H-O-W. I'm not black, African American, white, green. I don't own anything because I don't want anything in the world. So anybody using Deshaun Weathers, arrest their asses. Call me again. I'll show up for court, whatever. And whatever's left over, because I need it, because I'm trying to live in this hellhole. I'm living because somebody just tried to kill me. So when I found out that there's a lot of money sitting somewhere, and somebody even forged my name, and I'm not guilty. So go ahead. Thank you, Miss Awesome. Hey, you know what? I like when the wind is in the bush. You knew that? What that sound like? The wind in the bush. What that sound like in the bush? What that sound like? Moses with the fire in the bush, sis. Huh? You too, Angel? Peace. Love you guys. Bye-bye. So now y'all heard that for yourself as we're looking on the screen that they called me here about some collection. I don't have no money. How they get my phone number? So what they did is they on their ass. That might be the money I need for the collections agency where the fraudulent thing come in that. And I could use that. We could use that. Let's get a little further. So Poochie Joseph Medieval Lad is guilty. But my question is, in New York, this is the funny part about Rainer, right? Rainier, Rainer. It's my cousin Rainy's name, y'all. And Corrine. And this is like the deceiver. And let's see what happens. Yesimus is usually held to be an allegory for a corrupt monk, right? Of the Roman Catholics. Alright. Monk. Corrupt. He's corrupt. His greed is what typically causes him to be led astray. Right? Greed, led astray. Cardinal sins, sinner. Right? No sincere in his heart. It is given to say that he will absolve the sins of the character. He comes to grisly end in the ending of the poem. Stripped of his skin. Oh shit! That's exactly what I said to you not too long ago. Stripped that motherfucker of his skin. Thrown to the swine, yup, the pigs. Right? So Reiner's comment, by contrast, represents the poor and the lowly. He triumphs over Jaegers by his wits. Right? Novalis deals with a subject that received extensive treatment in European popular culture. That would be America. Right now it's popular culture. America's European popular culture is America. but I can really just fiction. Middle Ages, modern period. The character, Jason Grimace and Reinardus, were clearly well developed by the time he wrote his epic. Later treatments, however, usually feature Reinardus and regulated the wolf to this is what we call Wolverine, I think. A Wolverine is a fox wolf. He's unstoppable. He's always healing himself. So this would be Wolverine. To the menagerie of the stock characters. What's that? Character archetypes. Okay. Stock character, also known as character archetype, is the type of character in a narrative, black man narrative, Wolverine narrative, whom audience recognize across many narratives or as past of storytelling. Slick Rick, the art of storytelling. KRS-One, so your philosopher, storytelling, rap music. Who's the what? Candy ass, right? Who came up with the word candy ass? Tradition or convention centers. They are is wide range of stock markets or black stock markets. That's when they destroyed the black stock market, covering Gentile, reptile, carpenters, men and women of various ages, social classes, and what? I had to read that. We're going to end it after this. So, what is a stock character? Also known as a character archetype. Read that range of characters. Alright, here we go. Listen to this. There is a wide range of stock characters, covering men and women of various ages, social classes. Social class is a group of people into a set of hierarchical social categories. Rich, white, black, poor, boom. So, this is the stock market. Dow Jones, African American stock market. Moorish American stock market. Racial classes amongst Moorish Americans. Racial classes amongst Islam, Baptist Church. All these what? Archetype pals or friends of a wide range of what? Stock characters that all fit a narrative called a novel, play, television show, or what? Film. So know that that's covered. Why you live like TV. Why you want gold chains like the baby. Why you want green hair like this. Why you want the car like the next man. Because you are a stock character. You are an archetype. You are a artificial human. You're an artificial man. Okay? And here's what you do. Start one. That's it right there. There's a whole range of stock archetypes, women, ages, social classes, and demeanors. What's your demeanor? Well, I got a black man, I got a black woman, black children, black education. That's a demeanor. But that's the type of social class. These are distinguished by their simplification and flatness, meaning death. When you flatline, you have no heartbeat, you dead. So you have to get. How do you get life? As a result, they tend to be easy targets for parody, which is what a creative design to imitate. See, you parrot, you monkey. You're not a man. You're only 3/5 of a man. Black man and black woman. Why? It is to be criticized as cliche. Cliche is an element of an artistic work, saying or idea that has become overused to a point of losing its original meaning. In other words, it's becoming overused to the point of losing its original meaning or effect, even to the point of being weird or irritating, especially at some earlier time it was considered meaningful or novel, called African America. Now it's a fucking cliche. It's weird now. Matter of fact, when I came out and told you Hebrew Muslim, y'all said that's weird. But you enjoy African American cliche, now that's weird. Now you're coming back to the truth. Afro-Asiatic. Born in America. See? This presence of a particular array of stock characters is a key component. Of many rap generations. Hip hop generates. Or generates, rather, right? Genre, my fault. Or genres. What's your favorite genre? Right? It's a form of type of communication in any mode was socially agreed upon. So, what's the genre in African American success? There's a whole list of them. They're even religious too. Remember the book block, or the block book, the stumbling book, the stumbling block. The Bible is really a fairy tale. Jesus is what? And Jesus is a genre. And they often help to identify what Christianity, generate Islam, or submerge African American who preaches what? No, the African American is the only race of people who has a whole bunch of genres for religion. African American is the only one that can be Christian, Hindu, this, that, and still get on TV with fake hair, nails, no idea of shit, and wear everything made by nothing of their own, and will kill you. Will set you up. The black man and black woman is the epitome of death. Called "Let us make man in our image." Say it again real slow. If you are a pale skin and you a bunch of niggas in a box and they down there playing with each other's Gucci and penis and stuff, you say, "Hey niggas, I got you in my box." We're gonna call it a slave ship, but you're really in my basement. I'm in your basement because I came and took your shit. And I got you to give me some of that coochie and some of your boy pussy. I'm gonna mix this shit and put it in my lamb and mix it with some of my pelican sperm and then put it in some shit inside of a horse's ass and a donkey's ass and put it in a coded book and call it The Story with the Stock Character of Knights Errant, and a witch is probably a fairy tale or fantasy. I can't make this shit up. Listen, we're going to end the video with this. A knight errant is a figure of a medieval chivalric romance literature. You hear me, Bath, Detroit? The adjective errant indicates how the knight errant will wander the land in search of adventures to prove his chivalric virtues, either in knightly duels or in some other pursuit of courtly love. You see why Courtney's in the way? Because she ain't got no love. Because I'm looking for the real love. I'm busy. Alright? I'm busy. Now, let's get back how we started this adventure. Right? It's heavy, man. Damsel in distress. Always want to come save a hoe. Now the niggas out front of my door want to kill me. Such as what? Damsel in distress. How do a black man earn his way between the legs of a black woman? He plays Superman. And why do a black woman put her black man on a pole, on a high standard amongst the men of God? Because he's a wise fool. He'll work his ass off and give his whole check to the damsel in distress. And the damsel in distress will protect the wise black nigga fool, because he's dumb enough to spend all his energy in this vicious cycle called a racial stereotype. Right? Characters may be offensive to readers or viewers. Notice the characters. So the black African American is a fucking character in a fairy tale, according to the white V. Swain, as in Swain or Mark Twain. Who is prolific fiction author, professor, and writing, creative writing at that. All characters begin as a stock characters and are fleshed out only as far as they need to what? Advance the plot. Like McKinley's Middle School or McKinley's High School here in Pittsburgh. School of Fine Arts and their racial stereotypes. Ethnic stereotype, ethnic depravity. Racial stereotype, racial depravity. Cultural stereotype, cultural deprivation. A national stereotype, nationality deprivation. Or a national character. The deprivation of one's own identity to be a fucking man of God. Does the same for the given nationality? Yup. So what's your nationality, black man? You ain't got none. In the fucking story. I ain't got to say nothing else. Secretary or what? Girl Friday. Look, hold on. Oh my fucking God. Damn, you fucking pimp. Y'all raped my fucking grandmother's mosquito pirate by the name of Bill. The French. I was born and raped. No wonder he wanted to abort me. No wonder Venezuela. Pet dog was Caleb, Jason. Tame the goat was Billy Goat. And his only companion in his 25th year, he discovers the carrot or the soul rib or the carib. South America, called the spirit of Lina. Carolina. This is where Carolina came from. Carolina came from South America. They got that name, Carolina. Carolina became North Carolina when they mixed, and then when they spoke on later languages, they became the Caribbeans, who was told that they were Jamaicans instead of South Americans, who was traded to the islands of Carib, called the Carolinians. So Jamaica, you're not even Jamaican. You're Caribbeans from the Carolinas, from Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, you gotta come home. Same thing with Haiti. That's what's happening. Yup. We know better than that, though. It's gonna blow your mind. More confirmation, and we're gonna roll up out of here. Now, when I tell you that we're Afro-Asiatic, please shut up. Straight up, man. When I tell you we're Afro-Asiatic, man, just shut up. Now look at this map. Somebody had to be dumb as fuck to do this. Read this. I hope I didn't read this wrong because I might be dumb as fuck now. The indigenous peoples of the Americas, or inheritance of the Americas from the arrival of the European settlers and African slaves. Look at that earth tone, man. We're not black, which is England. We're not black, which is Africa, and we're not white, which is European. We're earth tone. We are the original men and women of the planet. We've been invaded by these aliens that are black, white, and indifferent. Canada, all of that is ours. That's why it's on fire. It gets no more proof than this, man. You can be African American all you want to. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know where you're going, because Africa ain't taking you. We definitely don't want you. So, And you can't say we coons, because we just proved to you that you call yourself black and African American, you're admitting to being an artificial man. And so we kill you. Shit. Shit all tangled up. Hold on. What the fuck is going on here? Alright. Called our spiritual family, our spiritual ancestor who's been murdered from the top of quote unquote Canada to the bottom of South America. Who got us cut off from the front, North America? Who got us cut off from the back, South America? While the West, Europe, in the East Hemisphere, everybody else, Asia, fucking with us. Or Ham. That's what it is, Ham, not Asia, Ham. You got Japheth, Europe, and you got Ham, Africa, trying to pressure us into worshiping like them. That's why you got Noah, the flood, the whole planet. You got Shem right here, North and South America. Ham is Africa, and Europe is Japheth. And they would come over here and fuck our shit up. Nope. Look at my family over in Mexico. What's up? The United Mexican States. North America and South America. Because our shit is what? A PAC or a Pacific or a PA. Not Pennsylvania, but PA. Or an with the word Carolina, women are K-A-R, Cara, Lina, or the Caribbeans from the who? Belize, Guatemala, where they moved us out of there and took us somewhere else. Breeded us with some shit that brought us back as Indians. You dirty bastards. And that's why our spirit said, my children would know my voice and my spirit. Hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. Say la, ya, you are. I say ya, yeah, hey. We out with this. No, we ain't gonna do that. Let's close this out with another spiritual confirmation. Wish you have a most wonderful day.